What's up everyone? Today we're gonna talk about the essential things you need to know before you sit on the piano for the first time and the things you need to avoid at all costs. Hi guys, and welcome to my channel's new series called Sweet Struggle. My name is Evgeny Genchev and I'll be sharing my knowledge and experience as a performer and as a teacher to help you improve yourself and fulfill your music potential. In today's video I would like to cover some of the basic things that you need to know and do before you even push that piano key for the first time. Whether you've been playing the piano for a while or you're a complete beginner, you should know that it's important to avoid establishing wrong habits, because then it's very difficult to rewrite your program and to get rid of them. I remember my very first piano teacher taught me that my pinky should be always up so that it can be prepared and ready. As a result, I'm trying to get rid of this habit to this day. I really want you to avoid having to fix anything, so let's get things right from the start. So here are the 5 things you need to know when you sit at the piano. First of all, you have to warm up. You might ask me now, but Evgeny, I don't even know how to play the piano. How do I warm up? I think it was Horowitz who said that the pianists are just athletes but for the small muscles. You do need to keep that in mind when you approach the piano, especially it being such a physical instrument. As pianists, we are often a victim of a bad posture, so in order to avoid any injury or stiffness as much as possible, make sure that you warm up as you would do before a workout. Just avoid doing any static stretches before you sit at the piano, as this may cause injury. The second thing that you need to know is how to properly sit at the piano. I know at this stage you may be thinking, seriously Evgeny, how difficult could it be to sit at a bench? I've been sitting all my life, I know how to sit. Now granted, surely you know how to sit, but I assure you there are probably a couple of things that you may not have thought about that are really essential when you sit at the piano. Now there are a couple of different components to this, and the first one is the chair height. Chair height is something that is very personal, and I have seen people do it in many different ways and they all had their own logic. Personally, I would suggest that you adjust the chair height so that your elbow is around the level of the keyboard. Since different people have different proportions of the arms, I would suggest that you experiment a little bit and adjust it accordingly to what feels right for you. Once you establish what the right height for you is, try to be consistent. And I know, especially if you're in a conservatoire, you probably play on many pianos, so different pianos have slightly different build, but there is a little trick that you can use in order to make sure that you always sit at approximately the same height. Adjust your bench at the correct height for you. Put the bench under the piano, then measure the distance between the piano and the bench with your fist or fingers. The second aspect to sitting properly at the piano bench is the distance of the bench from the instrument. What is too close and what is too far? The important element to consider here is movement and stability. If we sit too close, our elbows and arms wouldn't have the necessary space to move up and down the keyboard. If we sit too far, we would have to compensate with the body and lean forward. Take a moment to establish what the right distance is for you, and then try to be consistent with it. Number 3 is posture, and this is really essential because it will enable you to give the best possible performance, and it also will give you the chance to keep injury free. An element of a good posture on the piano is where do we sit on the chair. Yeah, it's about sitting on the chair again. Now what I've seen so many times being done by pianists is that they either sit at the edge of the chair and they look like they're gonna slip any moment off of it, or they sit at the entire bench, making you question whether they came to perform or maybe they came for a cup of coffee. I mean, I do love coffee and I have plenty of coffee during practice, but this is just a bad position. It doesn't allow you any flexibility, it doesn't allow you any movement. It's just, you need to avoid it. That being said, save a piano today and do not put your drinks on it. Seriously though, just look after the pianos and make sure you protect them. Your legs are another important component that you've got to keep in mind when we're talking about good body posture. Try to avoid crossing them and keep them on the floor. Whenever you have to lean left or right, or you need to lean on the piano, it is vital to have a good leg support. Try to keep your shoulders down and your head straight. Make sure that these things are in place when you next sit at the piano. Number 4 is actually having a piano. And obviously this is not a list made in order of importance, but it is fundamental to have a good instrument that you can play on. I cannot overstate how important it is to have a good instrument. It really inspires you, pushes you forward, it motivates you to explore further, to get better. I need to take a moment here and really express how grateful I am for Bechstein to really providing me with this grand piano and supporting the video. They create really, truly beautiful pianos. And that's why having this piano is such a treat, because you get up in the morning thinking, oh, I'm gonna play this and I'm gonna play that, and you're just inspired. It's really such a treat. In case you're just starting to play the piano, you might want to get an upright piano, or you might want to get a neighbor-friendly version of an instrument like a digital keyboard. At the end of the day, it's just important to play, no matter what the instrument is. When you love the piano, although it may be difficult sometimes, it may be a bit of a struggle, when you love it and when you love music, it makes it sweet. Number 5 on the list of things that you need to know before you start playing the piano is finding the right hand position. I need to say here that perhaps teachers are as guilty, if not more guilty, than actually the students for bad hand positions here. And bear with me for a second and I'll tell you why I think that is the case. First of all, let me say that it's natural that there would be some tension when there is something that is unfamiliar to you, whether you're handling a new device, whether it's a camera, whether it's a phone, or whether it's an instrument. You instinctively get a little tense. You are not as relaxed as you can be. But most teachers take it a step further. They would say things like, imagine that you're holding an apple to their students, or they would even be cute and say, imagine under your palm there is a little mouse. What is even worse is when they put certain items on their students' wrist and they're like, you need to hold it in order for it to balance. What all these things do is make you even more tense, in addition to the tension that you already naturally had as you're approaching something new and your instinct is to pull in because it's unfamiliar. So as a result, they do create extra tension. If you need to imagine that you're holding something, then there would be some extra tension. If you need to imagine that there will be something on your wrist, you will fix your wrist and try to play the piano with a fixed wrist. It starts hurting, you would get yourself an injury. It's not relaxed, it's not natural. Just so that you can see what I'm talking about, try fixing your wrist, and then with that fixed wrist, I want you to try to move your fingers. That's right, it doesn't get that fast, it's not that flexible, and it gets tiring. So by now you're like, Evgeny, you're just going crazy and you've given us all the problems, but you have given us none of the solutions. Okay, here we go with the solution. Drop your hand by your body, observe its position, then pick it up in this relaxed state and put it on the keyboard. That's your most natural shape of the hand. Many people, out of habit of tension, would relax their hand, but then would pick it up back up with the same amount of tension. If that happens, shake it off and try again. So to recap, what are the things that you need to know and do before you sit at the piano? You need to make sure you warm up your body, your joints, so that there is a nice blood flow going. You need to sit at the right height and at the right distance from the piano. Sit nicely in the chair with your legs, body and arms in alignment with an instrument. And lastly, have a beautiful instrument that inspires you to play and to practice every day. So there you have it, guys. Now you know how to prevent establishing wrong habits and avoiding injury. I hope you guys got something out of it. I hope you learned something. and I hope you're gonna practice what you learned. If you've been doing some of the stuff wrong, no need to get discouraged. I'm sure you'll do amazingly and put your best foot forward. We all need to get better and improve ourselves every day and go through that Swiss struggle of self-improvement. It's what it's all about, isn't it? If you've got any questions or anything else you would like me to cover, just leave a comment below, let me know about it. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell button so that you get notified every time I upload a video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.